you doing, little mama? How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. It is an absolute slicker. There is not a lick of wind out there. Supposed to be in the office today, but we can put that off. It's way too nice. I'm gonna get the little boat, or the Ginu in the water. I call it the little boat. I need to run down and grab some ice and gas, but we're gonna throw the boat in the water and just go explore. It's just too perfect. Just kind of making sure I have everything. I don't really have a plan. It's just too nice. So I'm gonna go ride around, bringing a little bit of everything. I'm gonna bring a rod. I got the dive gear. I've got a lobster snare just in case I see any bugs. I am gonna bring a gun. This is actually a Koa 90 Euro. It's kind of the in-between gun, in between the banana gun and the Grover. Doesn't have a reel, but it still takes decently long shots. So, but it's also small enough and maneuverable for shallow water. So, kind of my Sunday fun day gun. So I'm gonna bring that, and I think we're good to go. Let's throw this boat in the water and we'll get out there. Look at this. Holy moly. A little later than I was hoping. It's already 10:45, but the day is still young. Let's go explore. What a day. Holy moly. So typically on a day like today, I'm gonna want to run far or do something I normally do, go to spots that I have. Just because it's such a nice day, you want to enjoy it, put a lot of fish or lobster or whatever it may be in the boat. But if you have the self-control and you like exploring, days like today can be some of the best days to explore. For example, shallow water spearfishing or lobstering. When it's this clear and calm, I don't even have to get out of the boat. I can literally just drive around, look for rocks, coral heads, ledges, whatever it may be. So that's what I'm gonna do. I know I could good and well just go to some of my old spots and probably do fine, but a lot of the fun for me personally is exploring and finding new stuff. I had someone comment a while back, like, if you have so many good spots, what's the point of finding new ones? And I don't know, that just sounds weird to me. Like, I love the exploring, the finding new things, the excitement of diving for the first time down on a spot. So that's what the conditions are good for right now. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna putt around and see if we can find something, anything. Just drive and look. So I just came across this little grass ledge. You can see a bunch of antenna down there, a bunch of lobster sticking out right along that edge. These little things like this are the antenna. So that is a good find right there. Hopefully the camera picks it up. There, you see them right there. Can't tell if there's any big ones, but it's worth a look. We're gonna mark that one and press on. There's a little head right there with a couple lobster in it. Maybe hard to see. I had to loop back around. This one's got a couple in it. That one, the one on the corner there looks like a big one. I have to come back for that one. We're gonna mark that. Some big tarpon over here rolling. Kind of cool to see them out here. Oh, there's one right there. Big old tarpon. Have a cool little area. Whoop. Oh, look at all the grunts. Oh. Okay. It's actual rocks here. Look at that. Pretty neat. Yeah, you gotta go in the water to snorkel. So a lot of times these spots will be tough to lobster because there's a lot of hiding spots, and lobsters seem, and there's exceptions to everything, seem to like things a little more intimate, a little more secluded. It very well could be on here, but they're just harder to find and more holes to search. That's a cool little find though, little coral patch. I could spot that one from a ways out. Look at the size of this thing. Huge coral head. Tons of bait on it too. That could hold a grouper. I'm going to mark that one. And we're going to come back. I know some of you guys may be getting bored. We're going to come back and dive some of these. I've just never mapped out this area, so all this is new. So I'm trying to map out a bunch of them, and then we'll come by and check them all. Another big one right there. Another huge patch. A little deeper. This one may be worth actually spearfishing, so I'm going to save this one for sure. Here's another nice set of rocks I found. 11 feet of water. I actually found this one with the side scan. A little deeper. I can still see though. Just have to go a little slower. You see the coral head there. It's getting warm. I think it's time to jump in. I've probably found just maybe a dozen single heads, spots, areas, ledges. So I think it's time to suit up and let's go see what's down there. So because I've never dove this spot or any of these spots, I'm going to start with a gun because fish tend to not sit still. If I see lobster, they're going to stay in the same hole. It's not a big deal. But if I jump in, I don't know what to expect. So if I jump in and there's a big fish there, typically it's not going to hang around. So I'm going to start with a gun. If I see any lobster, I'll come back and grab the snare. Welcome back underwater, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I'm going to talk about a few of these dives and spots. Like I said earlier, there is not, for me, when I'm out there, there's nothing like checking a new spot for the first time. You never know what you're going to find. At one point in time, I jumped in on my best spots for the first time. So you never know. You never know what you're going to find. It could be the best spot you've ever found. It could be the worst spot you've ever found. You may find something sunk on the bottom you never expected to see. Big fish, lobster, you never know. It's always exciting. So this is my first time ever checking out this spot, just scanning around. It was a pretty small rock pile, so not a ton to cover. I could see quite a few mangroves. Was hoping some bigger ones would come in. But typically when I first jump in, I'm just gonna scan, do a flyover, kind of see what's going on. So on that first drop I did, I noticed there were a couple lobster, but I wasn't really looking in the bottom, like up in the cracks and rocks and whatnot. I was more so looking for fish out in the open. And the more I started to look, I realized that there were lobster all over the place. Again, never dove this spot before. Just dumb luck. Landed on them. You'll see I swim around here, and for the most part, any rock that had a ledge in it or a crack or anything that they could fit in, there was a lobster in it. Which was pretty neat considering I never dove this. Sometimes you just get lucky, you know? And this rock right here, I initially dropped on when I was kind of looking around, see if there was any fish, any mangroves coming in. And I didn't realize that there was a boatload of lobster in this one. You'll see a little red grouper scurry up in there, but there was just, I mean, at least a dozen or so lobster in this crack and then a couple across from it. So I decided to trade the spear gun for the snare, and it was time to get to work. I've said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again just in case it's your first time. I prefer the snare. A lot of people like the tickle stick and net. The tickle stick and net can be really helpful in certain scenarios, but generally speaking, I like the snare just because it's one thing in my hand. And if I do come across a really deep ledge or a big cave, I think the snare comes in a little more handy there. Big one. Very nice. And if you follow along with the channel, you probably saw my mini season episodes and whatnot where I talked about the season looking bad. There wasn't a ton of lobster around. I honestly thought it was going to be a slow season, and it seemed like regular season has been a lot better than mini season was. Very surprising. There's been a ton of lobster all over the place, and they've all been really big. Another big one. And you may be wondering, how did mini season look so bad and regular season look so much better? Well, these lobster do walk. They move around quite a bit, and we did have a storm come through. I think it was between mini season and regular season. I was in Alaska, so I can't remember the exact date, but we had a storm come through. It blew, I think, 30, 40 mile an hour wind, and that makes the water very turbulent, and the lobster don't like that, so it will cause them to move. So maybe they moved and kind of filled in the areas around Key West. That's what that could explain. That could be one reason. It's just speculation, but could be one reason we are seeing more now. All big today. Some jumbos today. Well, that is what I like to call dumb luck. There's some absolute brutes. Like full size lobster. For down here, we don't get the big ones. But, I mean, those are, most of them are over an inch over legal. Some really, really healthy ones. I'm gonna slush those up so they'll get sleepy. Unfortunately, I cannot dispatch them. I don't have my live well. Sometimes I'll bring the live well if I'm like dedicated lobstering. I'll keep them alive and dispatch them. But the law is you cannot puncture them, and the way that you dispatch them is you puncture the shell and let them bleed out. But unfortunately, I can't puncture the shell, just in case I do get stopped. So I'm gonna slush that up. Hopefully, put them to sleep. You know, I don't like animals suffering, but I kid you not, first time ever diving that spot. The first spot I dropped on today. Sometimes you just get lucky. That was a heavy case of dumb luck right there. That was the first time I've ever dropped on that spot. First time I found it was today, so pretty cool. Got my 6th lobster. I'd like to grab a few fish while I'm out here, so I'm gonna poke around to some of those other spots we found and located and see what we come up with. So this was another pile that I found. Actually, it was 2 of them. There was a smaller one and a bigger one. They were fairly close. They were within 100 feet of each other. There was grass in the middle, so I anchored in the middle of the 2 and decided I'd check both out at the same time. Again, I've never dove these. Wasn't sure what to expect. Similar bottom. I'm only in like 10 feet. I'm not really doing like crazy breath holds or anything. I consider this snorkeling more than anything. Just did my flyover, checking everything out. I started looking into holes. There was a little red grouper hanging out in here. It's a little too short. I decide This mangrove is ripe for the picking. There's one bigger one hanging out there in the distance. I barely, right when I shot it, turned and it barely caught the lip, very thin. So I'm being very careful to bring this in slowly so it doesn't tear out. Just try and get my hand on it there. I got lucky on that one, hit it pretty much right in the lip. And I always talk about braining and bleeding, and out of habit, because of the commercial thing, I gut my fish in the water where I'm at. And another reason I do it is because it gives back to the spot. I know it's not a lot, but if you gut a few fish, there's other fish there that can benefit from those. They will happily eat those. You can see a little red grouper there got a snack, and otherwise I'd fillet those fish and gut them at the dock, and they're going to go to tarpon or sharks that sit there all the time. But I'd rather give it back to the spot that I took it from, personally. Another nice lobster there. There were lobster all over the place this day. I already had my 6, so I was good there, but I did find, some other areas to work for lobster, for sure. And this is the second of the 2 piles, and just scanning around. This whole morning was over a span of about 4 hours, just to keep it real. I know the videos zip by, and it looks like I'm only shooting fish and only catching lobster. There was a lot of swimming around and searching. So I'm scanning around, and if you pay close attention here, I'll zoom it in a little bit. You'll see a really nice grouper hanging out on the edge of this rock right there. See his tail, and then he turns and goes into the cave. And initially I thought it was a black grouper. I didn't really get a good look at it. It was just far enough that all I could see was the silhouette. But I get my light out and start peeking in here, and I could see its lips and its face, and it just kind of looked a little funny, and I couldn't figure out why. It looked like a black, but just a different color. It was a little lighter, so before I just got trigger happy, I decided to investigate a little more, and I actually realized that it was a gag grouper, which was kind of cool to see. You don't see them in the shallows. We don't really get them down here very often, especially on the Atlantic side. But to see one this big in the shallows was pretty neat. I mean, it was every bit of a, I don't know, 26, 27-inch fish. But they are out of season right now, unfortunately. But definitely cool to see. We'll save that one for later. You can kind of get a look at it here. It doesn't have those black grouper blotches on it. It's almost more of like a brown grayish color. The gags can be very difficult to tell the difference, especially in a hole like that. And the gun I'm shooting today is a Koa Euro 90 centimeter. Really love it for these shallow rock piles. It's small and maneuverable. It does have a thinner shaft diameter, so it's a little faster on the smaller fish that are shifty. I wouldn't be my go-to for any of the deep reef stuff, but for this inshore shallow stuff, I absolutely love this gun. The banana gun in here is overkill, especially with the reel. I will take it. Some nice mangroves. Those buried nice and deep in the ice. I only hit, I mean, I probably found a dozen spots, coral heads or rock piles to search. I only hit 3 or 4 of them. I've got a lobster limit and 3 snappers, so I'm gonna call it. That's why I explore. I love it. Absolutely love exploring. You never know what you're gonna find. And I've got plenty of food and another 8 or 9 spots I have yet to explore that I have marked now that I can come check out next time. So pretty cool. It's only 2 o'clock, so I'm gonna head back. I think we're gonna have some lunch. Madeline had some showings this morning, but we'll probably have a couple lobster for lunch, and I've got the afternoon. I can get some of that office work done that I need doing. So I'm done out here. Appreciate you coming along, and I will see you back at the house. Can't make this stuff up. I had just got on plane. That's why I love this boat. I had just got on plane, heading home, and I ran this over. Pretty neat. Looks like an old engine block or something. A bunch of fish on it though, so I'm gonna mark it and save it for next time. You never know. Hello. Ooh. I love your dress. Brand new?
Yeah.
Wow. Love it.
I do.
I've got lunch covered. I'm a very, very sleepy Tipsy. Very sleepy. We're in the kitchen. It's time for some lunch. Little late lunch. So I got back and someone across the street started blaring music. And I thought that was going to stop, so I waited. And it didn't stop. It's been going on for like 3 hours, so. And I can't film. Not that it's fine. They can play music. I can't film outside. We were going to eat and cook outside, but can't have music in the background or it demonetizes the video. Anyways, we're going to have lunch inside. It's a little late. Today's lunch is brought to you by almost expired items. The corn was on its way out, so we grilled it. We're going to make some street corn. This is everything you need. And these are guidelines. This is like a amarillo chili, like sriracha, some chipotle mayo, queso fresco, and we've learned that this brand is way better than the other brand.
100%.
Not all queso fresco is created equally. Got some leftover chives from the garden box, lemon, a little bit of lettuce. I have some garlic. This is actually a serrano that we left on the plant, and for some reason it turned red. And why am I blanking?
That's it.
No, the onion. What is the?
Oh, shallots.
Shallots. Lobster tails and some leftover browned, expired flour or
No, I just did those.
corn tortilla, but they were expired by like 2 weeks. But it's fine. But that is everything you need.
We were on vacation.
Yeah,
so
we were on vacation.
we're working with limited groceries.
Yeah, so stuff expires when you're gone. So we'll get started with the street corn. We're gonna doctor this up because it is a little dry.
I will say I just YouTubed how you can rehydrate corn, and it says to boil it for 2 minutes. We don't have time, but
I'm
for
starving.
you guys, if you have expired corn.
It wasn't expired, it was just a little dry.
Dry.
And then I grilled it, so it didn't really help. Alright, so some lemon juice. I'm gonna throw a little chipotle mayo in there. Look this up. This is just gonna give a little flavor and a little bit of heat. Woo! Look out.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna stir and then you can add that. Or you're just eating it.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna give me a hand with it, but
I am. I'm testing it out.
just eating it right off the block.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
When I was a kid, I would eat this just off the block.
Give me some crumbles.
You want a lot or a little?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if this corn was going to
This
be...
is like street corn icing. Alright. And normally we would put cilantro, but we don't have any cilantro. We have some scallions left. There's our expired street corn special. Alright, so let's get our lobster ready. We're gonna pull these out of the shell. Let them sit on ice for a while. really fresh lobster is tough to get out of the shell. Hopefully these sat long enough, they should pull right out. Once you get it started, it's normally, oh, there we go. Big old hunk of lobster meat.
Whoa.
That's weird. It's like, I mean, if you watched any of the past videos, you heard me talk about it probably being a slow season. Well, when I got back, I went out and checked a few of the spots, and obviously went out again today. And man, I tell you, it looks better than it did on mini season. There are lobster all over the place, and they're all big. I actually had a buddy in town for 3 days that wanted to do lobster, and we just saw them all over the place. So maybe that storm made them walk. Maybe it was a late walk. I don't know. You never know. A lot of times wind or foul weather will make these lobster move around, so maybe there was a lot of lobster in other places that filled in. But it's looking like it's going to shape up and be an okay year. Just a little bit of olive oil. Got our garlic serrano that for some reason is red. And dude, why am I brain farting again?
Shallots.
Shallots. Why can I not think of that name? Something's wrong. I'm just gonna cook this down and make a little garnish. I think I'm just gonna throw the lobster in with it. So just chunked up the lobster into bite-sized pieces. A little bit of salt, a little pepper, and just a little bit of blackening. And the lobster should not take long, depending on what heat you have it on. It's like shrimp, it doesn't take very long, just a few minutes. I try not to cook it at a crazy high heat because I feel like it comes out a little bit tougher. So somewhere medium low. If you're in a hurry, turn it up. Because I've got garlic in there, I don't want it to sit too long. I want to keep it moving here and there just so that garlic doesn't burn. I was just gonna go, well, just follow your heart. How about that? Show them how it's done.
Okay. Following your heart, part 1. Look, where are you going?
I'm gonna see if the guy stopped.
You're gonna leave me alone with the people? Okay, focus.
I was gonna say we could eat outside, but he's gone from Tupac to totally flips of the heart. So
Oh.
it's gone full circle.
Okay.
So we're gonna eat inside.
Ooh.
It's got a little kick. That pepper was perfect. I tasted just a smidge of it.
I like small pieces.
I tried to dice them up pretty good for you. I know you don't like the big chunky ones. The queso fresco.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. All right, 1 taco with the corn in it.
Leftover item lobster tacos. How's the corn? Let me taste the corn.
The corn in the taco is good.
Good?
It's like how it's a little like crunchy or like dehydrated. It adds the snap in the taco.
There's a little heat in the lobster. Isn't that nice?
I would add the corn because this is all soft.
I want to try it first. I would love to know though if a Serrano can turn red. Well, it did. If you know why.
Does it change its name or is it still Serrano?
We just left it on the plant when we were in Alaska and it just eventually turned red.
A little bit. Yeah, they're good.
I like that. It's not too over the top.
These were just swimming around today, right?
Swimming around today, this morning.
Dang.
Well, not swimming. They were laying there.
They're rocking up?
Laying there right for the picking.
Thanks, babe.
I like how you said the corn is crunchy. not like corn normally is, so it's like actually. It's like corn croutons.
No, it's literally just like grilled corn, just dehydrated a little. It's fine. Adding some crunch. I like the crunch. Everything's good.
I like the crunchies. But that is all we have for this one. We've got some good weather coming up, so we'll probably do some more stuff. Take a bite, don't be scared. Do some more stuff. I think we're gonna dive later this weekend. On the big boat, go deep diving. And I've been craving a swordfish trip, so I may run out and do some sword fishing here soon. But as always, first hour of the videos, I reply to comments. If you have any questions, get on there in the first hour and I will get to them. Genuinely, thanks so much for your time. It's still amazing to me that people still even watch these.
They're good.
We're going on 5 years.
Really? Hold on, when?
We just passed it in July.
I was gonna say it was summertime.
Half a decade.
Wow.
But thank you seriously for your time. That's all we have. We'll see you on the next one. Later.